Madison Taylor of Madison Taylor Designs. Let's start there. Now, I'm going to ask all of you to do something because this is what I did when I was like, oh, you're going to be talking to Madison. I'm like, awesome. So I go into Google, which I would encourage you to do right now. Pick up your phones and Google Madison Taylor Designs. And then you're going to get to this site and you're going to click on it. And I'm going to wait for that noise of your collective jaws dropping when you see what this wonderful person has put together in terms of business and what she creates. Your work is amazing.
Thank you.
I'm just like, I want that one and that one and that one and that one. It's incredibly beautiful work. So while people are Googling and looking, and I'm sorry, that's the worst thing. See, no, they're actually all looking. And no one's paying attention up here. How did this happen?
Gosh, I don't know where to start. So I, as a young child, I loved like visual organization for everything. Mm-hmm. Night before school, would lay out an outfit. And my mom was in decorating, my dad was a musician, and my sister was in dance. So just like surrounded by creativity.
Yep.
And I remember my mom coming home and decorating my room, putting up like a teddy bear border and some wallpaper and stuff. And I hated it.
It's like, no, thank you.
I hated it. And I was only probably like 9 years old. And every day I would just like lay in my bed and like peel back the wallpaper and like kind of damage it so that she had to take it down.
Scarring your mother for life. But anyway.
And she came home and I had all of it ripped off in a pile and was kind of like, I don't like it.
What did you do with it?
And so she helped me clean it up. She's like, fine, you're on your own, do your thing. So she took me to the paint store. I painted my own room and I organized it, in the way that I wanted. And I've just kind of always been that way. It's like when something's not working for me, I need to fix it, whether it's, visual or so on. So that was always my trajectory. I loved math, I loved art, I loved drafting, I loved woodworking. I did it all through school. My co-ops were in interior design, went right into interior design for college and then architectural technology. And then, basically went out into the workforce, started working for a really wonderful company downtown Toronto doing hospitality design, so hotels, resorts. And the same thing kind of started happening. Wonderful bosses, great environment. It was nothing to do with it, but I was like, oh, I could do this so much better. Like they should do this and they should do that and they should, and it wasn't about the design. It was more about like the process where I was like, and I find in our industry, people have just done things historically a specific way and no one's really thought of changing it because it's just the way that it's done. Mm-hmm. And so my husband's an entrepreneur and he was like, just quit your job. It's fine. You're driving down the highway. Like, why are you doing this? And so I quit my job. And I took a business program with a government-funded program called BURN. It was like a business enterprise resource network. Because I was like, okay, I know how to do this, but like, how the heck do I do the business side? How do you even start? And so it put me through kind of like how to build a business plan, so looking at the things that you don't think about as a designer, like marketing and, projections and finances and all that kind of stuff.
All the good stuff, yeah.
And it just like broke it down in a way that was so achievable for me to like, okay, I can work through this. And I printed some business cards and away I went.
You make it sound so easy. When as we know, it's not. So and I should say too, people can see the results, the fruits of your labor when we show the website. You're almost 40 people now?
Yeah, just under 40 people, yeah.
Any other, in terms of accomplishments of the business, brag for me a little bit. Tell me about some of the things that you've done.
So I'm really proud of our team. Like I always say when I'm talking to new clients, like, it's not me. Like I'm like behind the scenes, maybe pulling some strings a little bit and managing the team, but I'm really proud of the collection of team that we have and the people that I've been able to, bring underneath me. And I'm proud that, it's really them. It's like it's them facilitating these designs and putting everything together. And I learned very quickly that, we all start a business doing something that you love and you're doing it. And then you slowly are like, oh gosh, I'm no longer doing it anymore because you're doing all the other things. Yeah. And so a lot of people, I think, get disappointed by that. But I got more excited about it because I was like, oh, I love the business development side. And I love the curation of how it should all work. And so it was like kind of a nice surprise for me to be able to actually step back from the design side still be in it. You know, I loved watching it and being part of the creativity, but not necessarily like performing it. And so that was like a nice surprise for me. It was like, okay, now I can like look at the business without being in it, and like really work on it and grow it, and yeah.
What did you, I mean, when you say that, when you had that process of stepping back, I mean, because you said it was exciting for you because it was a new thing to curate, which, and it's funny when you say curate, that's what I think about what you do in terms of maybe even everything from, you know, the buildings themselves up into when I read in terms of how you think about, you know, you work with your teams.
Yeah.
But how did you curate the talent? I was going to say bringing people in. How did you work with them? Like, I know you're very big on DISC and in terms of what that does and how you work with people.
For sure. So for like we were like 15 people for so many years, and I think that like I love human connection. I think it's like a big part of even how we do what we do, and so just connecting with people and really getting to know who people were first, and connecting on the same philosophies and the same mindset, and then obviously if they have the skills to support it, it was like, this is amazing. Pull this guy in, you know. Yeah. And our team is like, you know, everyone who works for me. I still have my original employee from 15 years ago who worked at my dining room table, and we have a lot of like long-term employees. And I think it's because we try to avoid the like recruiting online as much as possible, because when you can sort of organically meet people and have that connection, and they're already excited about what you're doing and why you're doing what you do. I just think there's so much longevity in that relationship, and there's so much ownership in each one of my team members that like they love what they're doing and they love what like we're doing as a company. And so that was really important for me, is just, finding those good people who care about what I care about.
You started, and I'm trying to find my notes here, but it was 18 years, I think, right? You've been in business?
18 years was like, I printed the business card. Yeah. But this will actually be my official 15-year anniversary in March this coming year.
Happy anniversary.
So thank you.
What are some of the challenges? Like when I think about COVID, when I think about, financing yourself to get bigger, I mean, I'm sure, that's all. And you strike me as an incredible optimist, which is probably why you can attract and do the things you do. But I'm sure not every moment was rosy.
No, for sure. I would say actually pre-COVID, we went through a bit of a learning curve because we were growing. Like I said, we were around 15 employees at the time. And it just started getting tricky because I was like...
What was tricky?
Just everything, because we weren't really set up properly, to be honest. We didn't have a good foundation of process and all this kind of stuff. So I realized this, then COVID hit. And we went down like everybody else to start. And rather than kind of crying about it, I was like, oh my God, we have time. We never have time. Let's take the company and literally flip it on its head and just mess everything up and redo it, redo the foundation and build back up again. And we did a lot. We had financial advisors come in. We had workflow management come in, standard operating procedures. We went through the DISC training and did a big communication training component.
Can you just tell people what DISC is? Just I don't know if
DISC. DISC is my favorite. I talk about it literally all the time. But DISC is it's a Tony Robbins personality training tool, and basically you do a test and you get charted into the different letters, and it kind of just tells you who people are in their most comfortable skin naturally. We're all trained to do different things, and we can stretch that, but what is your most comfortable being, and really understanding that. And it was so fascinating doing it with our team, because naturally, employees are going to fall in certain categories, but it also tells you, are you in the right position? Because if you're down here as a letter and we've got you doing tasks that are a letter up here, you're probably exhausted and you're probably stressed out all the time. So it was neat to kind of chart our team and figure out where everyone's letters were, including myself, and then really make sure that it made sense to what they were doing. So most people actually landed, funny enough, in the right spot. A lot of our lead designers were ID, so I being innovative ideas, creative, sky's the limit type people, but D's also being very bottom line, let's just get to the finish line, not really worrying about the fluff. So designers were all up there. My managers and operational managers were all in the C category, which was collecting data. Like, we want all the information of who, what, where, when, why.
Yep.
So as an I'd be like, I have an idea. And they're like, oh, Lord, just give me the information of how we're actually going to do that. And so it was really fascinating because we had one designer who was an S personality, which is like a very empathetic, very supportive type personality. And we had her leading projects. And every meeting she would go in and do a presentation. And she started off strong, but as soon as there was feedback, it was just like shut down. Like she just like would fold and like couldn't handle the feedback. And so when we got her letter back as an S, I was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. She is a supporter. She's not the innovator leader. So let's put her back in a supportive role, give her a really strong leader to guide her so that she doesn't have to get uncomfortable in those roles, unless she wants to learn and train, of course. But it just allowed us to kind of like put everyone in the right spot where they were the most happy, most comfortable, most productive. And then we even were able to take it a little bit farther, is that when we're communicating with our clients, obviously we didn't make everyone do a DISC assessment.
That'd be funny.
But it would be really, excuse me, can you just please fill this out? But I really got to know it quite well. And so when I would talk to people, I'm like, you're probably a D personality, or you're probably an I. And so I would kind of let the team know on onboarding, and then that way, if we were writing an email to like a D personality, it was like, here's the information, thank you, bye. Mm-hmm. Where if we were, communicating with an I, it was like, guys, pick up the phone. Like, this person wants to get excited and they want to talk and they really want to share the story about the project. If we were talking to a C, it was like, please give them every attachment, every list, everything of information that you can give them. That'll make them so happy. So it even allowed us to take it that step further, as like, now not only are we working better as a team, communicating to each other in the right way, but now we're able to even target like how we're communicating with our clients to make them really comfortable. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm an ID, so I kind of land in the middle. And when I get like really long emails, I'm like, where's the bold? Okay, I just like try to put this together.
AI
with
is good
like
for this now.
The
What are the 3 main points, right?
Or I'll like unread, do that later. Mm-hmm. So it's been like a really, really interesting tool for our team.
You have a really, I was just going to say, I've had the pleasure of interviewing many business people and entrepreneurs. I've never actually spoken with somebody who's so focused on like team dynamics within their business as you are, which I think is pretty interesting in terms of how you think about growing. What about you as a woman? I know that you talked about your start. And I think you mentioned you had gone through kind of more, construction, renovation, that side of things too, which is not known for its always forward thinking around women. Yeah. What was that like?
Yeah, it was very interesting coming out of the gate. So when I stepped into the construction world, it was very male dominated, and I could just kind of already start to see the issues, I guess, in the industry. So you'd see like builder working on a project, typically a male, let's say. Designer comes along and you could just see them being like, oh God, here we go, like another designer who doesn't know what she's doing. And so I was like, oh man, like I don't want to be that. Like, I want to make sure that we're fixing that and figure out what is the actual problem and like why is that happening. And I learned really quite quickly that it was a lack of knowledge on both sides. So it was like, as a designer, often people will come up with something really interesting and go, here, builder, can you just like figure this out? And then they're just scratching their heads, frustrated of like, this isn't feasible. This isn't, So I really found that like fueling myself with like information was so powerful. It was like, I'm going to know what you do and how you do it so that I can now give you a better experience with us as designers. So we're not just going to paint you a pretty picture and say, figure it out. We're going to paint the pretty picture. We're going to figure out exactly how you build it, materials, products, what are all those drawing details. And then we're going to help you assist like putting that together so that, your job is much easier. And so it took a long time. Like, builders were like, oh, here she goes, did the same reaction to me. But then, like, very quickly, they had such a respect for us because it was like, oh, they're like walking the walk here. Like, they know what they're doing, and they're actually helping me make money now. And so we were able to kind of like flip that narrative like quite quickly and like really gain respect in the industry with the builders because we were now alongside with them versus, going bulls to bulls.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a great story. What's your vision for where you want Madison Taylor Designs to go?
You know what? I never really think about like, oh, I want to be this big. I like to take risks. Tony, I think he's here somewhere, knows how much I like to take risks, and I think I scare him sometimes.
Smart risks, yes.
Smart risks are always like, I'm very confident when I take a step forward. I know there's going to be ground, there for me. But I think I just want to continue to build our team, finding the right people to connect. We're already so grateful to work in such a great industry of, estate homes, vacation properties, and we're working on like just really spectacular work.
And I'm sure the nature of the work is changing a lot now
totally.
too, isn't it? How's it changing?
We're seeing a lot of the vacation homes, and I think with the real estate industry kind of sort of having its down, we are sort of working with a lot of our clients, or actually a lot are coming from the U.S. up into Muskokas, chalets up in Collingwood and stuff like that. And so we're seeing on our side anyway, people's really need to like disconnect from wherever they are and build, kind of alternative universes for themselves. So
interesting.
They're really fun to do because you do get to, do a little bit more of alternative design that's not the same as their home. So it gives them a little bit more creativity.
It's funny, you give a little window into how connected you are to the clients by saying that, right? Like it's not a cottage, it's an alternate universe. Like they need to escape to, right?
So, exactly. Yeah.
That's great.
So
go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, so my next biggest thing that I'm working on right now, which is sort of like the next evolution I find, is our own development. So we have done kind of individual projects for our clients over the years, and I have a unique opportunity to sort of do my own development now. So
what does that mean?
So we have a plot of land that we're going to be severing into 15 estate-sized properties, and we're going to be doing individual custom homes with like our brand and flair kind of in the community.
That's amazing.
So it's like our first one. It's small, 15, and again, we want to be very unique with how we're approaching it because I think saturation is happening, which is amazing. We need housing, but we still want to create these spaces and these unique homes for people who are still looking for the bigger piece of land, the privacy, and
in 10 years, we'll be sitting here to have designed a city, but anyway, that's kind of where it's going. I should mention that, just for people who don't know, you are also a mom.
Yes.
How many?
So I have 2 boys, 7 and 13.
And they're active?
They're extremely active, very competitive, athletic family. So we are in the hockey world, and we're actually currently billeting 2 extra kids, so don't ask me why I did that. But we have 4 boys in the home right now. 2 14-year-olds, 13-year-old, and a 7-year-old.
Bless you. Sorry, I got a 15-year-old boy. I barely want him sometimes. Right. I love him, but you know what I'm saying. So, but how do you manage that? I mean, because that's real, right?
Yeah. I think it's like evolved over the years. Like obviously when you're first starting out, you are working like an absolute workhorse. You are spending the extra times. And then when I had my son 13 years ago, I mean, I had never had a maternity leave. He was on my hip, he was in the meetings, and, and obviously he would transition into a daycare when he was old enough, but I just sort of had them along the ride with me. And then, in the last few years, I've been fortunate enough to be able to balance out work and life. For me, family is like my most important thing. I love being a mom. I love watching them, do all their things. So obviously creating time for that to make sure that could happen, and not just like shipping them off to practices and games, but being able to like be there and watch them and have the cowbells and like get excited, with the other parents was really important for me to develop that other part of my life.
And for your team, I know too, right?
Totally. Yeah. Our team, like all young kids. And I think that because it's important to me, I know how important it is to them as well. And so even creating a work environment that supports the fact that they can leave a little bit early if they have to go to a sports game or a doctor's appointment or things like that. So I think, again, that's why people have stuck around, because it's like they're able to love their job and do what they're doing, but also like be parents, be friends, have, a separate life outside of work that they can enjoy too.
Last question for this group. What is the one piece of advice maybe you wish you were told, or something you would like to impart that you think is important?
I've learned a lot of things through mistakes. So I think that just talking to as many people as you possibly can about what they're doing, how they did it, what were their mistakes, so that you can kind of employ some of that stuff before you make them. Not that I didn't get where I am fairly decently fast, but probably with a little bit more pain than I would have liked. So yeah, I think like I love talking to people. Actually, a lot of our clients are entrepreneurs, and it's like I love talking to them about their successes and their challenges. I think like people don't talk about challenges enough. I find everyone's like, oh, everything's amazing, everything, but then they're crying inside because it's not, and it's actually quite hard. And so I think that talk about your mistakes, talk about the challenges, like just be real and honest with what's going on, because it's amazing the things that
you
the
start
feedback
and they do.
Exactly. And then they all of a sudden feel more open to talk about theirs. And so it just creates like a really cool conversation, I would say.
Well, thank you for this conversation. Thank you for sharing, everybody. Thank you for making the world a more beautiful place in terms of what you're creating. And Madison Taylor, everybody.
Thank you.